Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another Superstar SEO webinar. I am your host, Chris M. Walker. Please let me know if you can hear me and see my screen okay. Yep, okay, just double checking. It is Eclipse Day. Normally I like to start my webinars off with a little Transformers trivia, but since Eclipse Day was today and a lot of people were checking that out, I figured I would start with this really cool picture of the eclipse that I took. Except I didn't take it. It's a really cool one I found online somewhere, so I'm using that and taking credit for it, so yay. All right, so what are we here to talk about today? By the end of this webinar, you'll be telling me that it's possible to start an SEO consulting business and make a full-time income in the next 90 days. So if you stick around to the end of the webinar, I'm going to email everybody that attended earlier today and today, or excuse me, and tonight, my email templates that have gotten me both my first client and numerous clients over the years. So I'm going to send those out to everyone. So please don't ask when you'll get them. I'm going to send them out within the next 24 hours to everyone that attended. And just a little bit about me. If you're here, you probably already know who I am. But my name is Chris M. Walker. I am the founder of Superstar SEO, a successful SEO agency in South Carolina. I am the all-time leading seller on Conquer. I'm a video and local SEO expert, and I've been featured in Huffington Post, Entrepreneur.com, SourceWave SEO, OMG Machines at SERP.net, and a few others. And this is me, standing there looking goofy outside of my apartment. So, enough about me. You're not here to talk about me. What we are here to talk about is how committing to client consulting changed everything. And I'm going to give you a little bit of my personal story here to set the stage for you. How I got started. Well, in about, I guess it's going on 4 years ago now, I got into some debt and I needed to find ways to make a little extra money. So I started researching online and I found out about affiliate marketing. So I created a few affiliate sites and I made a little bit of money, not anything life-shattering. And then in October of 2014, I got hit with a Google Penguin penalty because I had no idea how to do SEO anyway and I was doing it wrong, and all my money went away overnight. I was doing Amazon, this is a funny story, I was doing Amazon Prime to eBay arbitrage, which is where I would find cheap things on Amazon and then sell them on eBay and then just ship them right from Amazon using my Amazon Prime account for the free shipping. And I was making a few $100 a day doing that, but it turns out that that's totally against Amazon Prime terms of service, and that account got shut down. And then buying shiny object software, like, we could all get these emails and see these offers, buy my latest whatever and it'll put this system into place and it'll make you lots of money. And I bought all kinds of that stuff. It pains me to think about it, but none of it ever worked. The point I'm trying to make here is that these were all shortcuts, tricks, whatever you want to call them, to making money online, and it just wasn't working, and it isn't sustainable. In fact, this is what I looked like after a day at my 9-to-5 job back in 2014. Also noticeable in this picture is how poor the quality is, but that's because I had a cheap $99 phone at the time that I took the picture with because that's all I could afford. Otherwise, I look incredibly handsome as usual, though. That's a joke too, by the way, in case you don't get my sense of humor. But after that, I decided that I was going to commit to getting clients. Now, I was still working a full-time job, so it was a little, how shall we say, tricky. But it worked out well for me in the long run. Within that, I told a story a little while ago about how I quit my job, and then it was like another 3 months before I put in my notice, and it was like another 3 months before my last day. In that time, I thought I really bared down to make sure that I got enough clients to keep a roof over my head. And in that time, I was able to get up to about $7,500 a month in those 90 days, which is what, I can't do math off the top of my head. That's like, what, 80 grand a year or something like that. And then within a year, I've gotten it up to about $40,000 a month just from client consulting, not talking about any of the other things that I do. So my point in telling you this is it's really easy to be in a job one day, really bear down, and then get yourself to the lifestyle that you want. And on that point, zoom out a little bit here. A successful consulting business opens you up to a world of possibility. So many things that you can do that you couldn't do when you're at a traditional 9-to-5. So for example, if you like to travel, I'm not really big on traveling, but like I said a little while ago, I am big into WWE. So every year I go to WrestleMania, wherever it is. It's the trip that I like to take every year, and I have the freedom to do that, both as far as time off and financially to be able to do that. I actually get better seats than I got this particular year most years, but I waited too long. But this is a picture of me at WrestleMania, so I enjoy that. And maybe what what you want to do is help people. So I like to help people. I've worked in various nonprofits and stuff over the years, but what I like to do now is help people with their business. And right around the time that I put my nose hit my job, I started my Facebook group, which is where a lot of you probably came here from. And I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but I do my best to help everybody that posts and everybody that needs something and comments and so on. So that's become really important to me, is being active and being helping people in there. So if that's something you like to do, is help people, whatever that means for you, whether it's charity, politics, whatever, that frees you up to have the time and resources to do that. If what you want is freedom, then you get that too with the consulting job, because you can work whatever hours that you want to. For example, I like to stay up very late. Well, I do stay up very late, and then I like to sleep late. Like I usually get up around 12 o'clock. So, you can get up at 12:38, you can get up really early, you can stay up late. It doesn't matter, because you're not going to be in trouble if you don't get to the office on time or whatever. So that's the kind of freedom you got. And I think in what most of you are probably here for, and what you really want to do, is quit your job. So if you do your consulting business just right, you can tell your boss, I quit. So hopefully that doesn't offend anybody, but hopefully that's you someday, maybe with not quite as disproportionate of a middle finger. So, and guys, if I talk too fast, I know I talk very fast. Just tell me to slow down a little bit, and I'll do my best. But this is how I talk, and I get criticized for it a lot, so I'll just do my best, okay? So let's move it on. So this is why you need to commit to client consulting. It's the fastest way to replace the income from your job. With affiliate stuff like affiliate marketing and the other tricks I was talking about earlier, you can absolutely make a great living from that, and I do know some people that do. But it's not like you make a few calls, or whatever number of calls it takes you, and then you have money. You set up with stuff like affiliate. You set up a site, get it to rank, you get it to convert, and then eventually you're going to start getting paid. But you don't go from zero to several thousand a month in the process of a day. So this is with client consulting, you can do that much quicker. It's a legitimate business model. Again, looking back at the tricks and stuff I was trying and why it wasn't working, is because that's exactly what they were, was gimmicks, tricks, whatever you want to call them. And you weren't building something to be proud of. Like, I couldn't tell people that, well, I take advantage of Amazon's system and I sell, pink plastic dinosaurs or something on eBay with it. That's not a real business. With this, you're actually establishing yourself as a legitimate business owner, an entrepreneur, and something that you can be proud of and can have respect for. Not that there's anything wrong with those other things, if there's anything to respect them. But I don't know, to me it's important to be able to present myself as a business owner. You're not dependent upon any one platform. Now, I mean, technically you are dependent on search engines, but there's always going to be some form of search engine as long as there's internet. But it's not like, well, good example recently where I sell a bunch of services, a site that I sell a bunch of services on, went down, and that went from a very, very profitable revenue stream to being completely gone overnight. With this, the only thing you're dependent on is your ability to get people into your consulting business, whether it's, SEO, Facebook ads, whatever you have. This, you're not dependent. Somebody can't flip a switch and shut your business off, basically. There's almost no overhead. With a lot of traditional businesses, you have to get into things like getting an office space, hiring people, office supplies, whatever, licenses and whatever. And there are some costs associated with starting this type of business, but compared to that sort of thing, you really don't need anything, and you can just start with a telephone and a computer and yourself. So, and as far as I can tell, it's the only 7-figure business you can really start with no skill. And what I mean by that is, it's not that you shouldn't learn SEO or don't need to learn SEO or whatever it is that you're offering, but hypothetically you could start the business, start selling it, and then just outsource the SEO or Facebook ads or whatever it is that you offer. And for the most part, we're going to be talking about SEO, but I want to make it clear that it's not just SEO that you can offer. But whatever it is, you can just outsource that to someone that can do it, and you just continue adding clients and making sales, and you can really make a lot of profit that way. And maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know of any other business that you can successfully do that with. So let me get a drink of water. In the meantime, is that we doing okay so far? Does anybody have any questions? Sounds good. Doing good. All right, let's move on to the next one. Next slide. So how does the business model work? It's pretty straightforward, and it's basically, if you look at it, it's how most businesses work. But what you want to do is prospect your potential clients, and because not every business that needs you is necessarily a good prospect, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Then what you're going to want to do is reach out to them, whether it's phone, email, an ad, however, whichever method you decide to take it, and then you can sign them to a monthly service contract, not contract, agreement, and they'll start paying you, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, whatever it is a month. So it's basically that simple. It's find good prospects, reach out to them, and we'll go into that a little bit, and then sign them to a monthly service agreement. So does that make sense? Good. So where do we prospect? Where do we find our prospects at? I mean, clients are literally everywhere if you keep your eyes open, but some of the top ones you can look at are Google itself. So you can Google a term and find people that need SEO that way, or whatever it is you offer. LinkedIn is a great place to pick up clients. So you can go on LinkedIn, find some business owners, and maybe target a niche, connected with them, and then just build their trust a little bit. There's Yellow Pages, and I don't necessarily mean the phone book, although I guess that would probably work too. I mean the website that for the paid spots on there are outrageously expensive. So you can talk to those people, to those business owners, and try to get meetings that way. You can do it in person at chambers of commerce, meetups, BNI, some other ones. And then you can do snail mail, which maybe that's not the right term, but this is something that's interesting that a lot of people I think overlook, because originally it was like the number one way to advertise, and then everybody did it, so it got so saturated that nobody did it anymore. So now that nobody's doing it anymore, I've actually found it to be a little bit effective, and I do talk about that. So how do you turn your prospects into clients? Well, I've come up with what I like to call the superstar offer. Basically, that's where you do a very inexpensive but high value service for someone for a low price, and that way you establish trust with them, because once money changes hands, they become a client. You do that for them and you prove that you can do whatever it is you said you would do. They're much more likely to buy an expensive offer from you, whether it's your monthly SEO or whatever it may be. There's some good examples of that we'll talk about in a little bit, but that's the number one way I've found that works well. Then you can show them what they're losing out on by whether it's not ranking or running ads or whatever. So for example, if they're on page 3 for, I don't know, a roofing term, an average roofing job is probably, I've never done one, but I'm assuming it's like $4,000 to $10,000. Maybe it's less than that, I don't know, but it's a lot. So if you can show them that just, by getting to the first page and getting a little bit more traffic a month, they might get 1 or 2 more jobs. The dividends that it would pay, that it would pay, would be great, and they're missing out on that the way it is right now. And then you can bring them business. This is a little bit different technique, but basically you can do something like rank a video and put their phone number on it, start driving them a little bit of traffic and sales, and then call them and say, hey, look, I'm driving these sales to you. If you give me a budget, I can do more, whatever. So those are just a few ways that you can turn prospects into clients. Obviously, there's lots of ways to go about selling things, but that's some of the ones that I like to use. So how does the business work? or more accurately, how do you get to where you have a full-time income using this business? Well, let's look at it like this. A really low-paying client is $1,000 a month. That may sound like a lot if you've never done this, but $1,000 a month is not much at all, really. If you break it down, it's less than minimum wage, but it's for a high-value skill, and this is the bottom for most SEO people, or SEO professionals, although others do a little less, but that's another discussion. So you add one $1,000 a month client. That's $12,000 a year. If you add a second one after you get a little bit more experience, that's a $2,000 a month client. That's $24,000 a year. So now we're up to $36,000 a year. You see how it stacks? And then if we add another $2,000 a month client, and these are very conservative numbers, that's another $2,000 a month, another $24,000 a year, brings us up to $60,000 a year, which is not, millions of dollars or anything, but for a lot of people, that's either that work 52 weeks a year, that's more or at what they make for working really hard, and you can pick that up with just 3 clients without much effort. I'm not going to say without much effort, but with very little effort in a very short amount of time. So does that make sense? Do you see how you can quickly turn nothing into a full-time income? So it says I have two $200 a month clients, but that's Canadian. Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean by that, but yeah, that's yeah. Does that make sense? How you can quickly go from nothing to oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, yeah, lots of ones. Good. All right, so let's move right along. So how about we show one live prospecting technique. Now this isn't anything, what I'm going to show you, assuming that you want to see it, isn't anything groundbreaking, but it's how I got started and how I found my very first client. So would you guys like to see that? Give me a 2 in the chat box while I grab another drink. Awesome, lots of 2s. Now, like I said, this isn't going to be anything groundbreaking, but it is how I got my first client and how you can go about getting some for yourself. So let's open a window over here. Somebody give me a niche, an industry. This is roofing, house cleaning. We did roofing earlier, so let's go ahead and stick with that. Okay, and then somebody give me a non-major metropolitan city. Somebody said Springfield. I'm not even sure what state that's in, but we'll try that. Okay, so we search for Springfield roofing, or you could do roofers or roof repair, what have you. Then what you're going to want to do is come down here to like page, let's say 4, but you can do it on page 2 and 3 and beyond. And then we're just going to find businesses. So, for example, this one is springfieldroofing.com. Now, looking at that domain name, doesn't that mean that he was somebody that was most likely trying to do some SEO and just either sucks at it, or he got a company that didn't know what they were doing, or whatever? The fact that he has an exact match domain tells me that this is somebody that's going to be a good person to target. So let's take a look at his site real quick. Hopefully this isn't anybody that anybody knows. I like to do this live, that way I'm not just picking my same cities and whatever again. So this looks like a website that might convert a little bit, but you know, that's not really the point here. So what you would do then is you can grab his phone number and just call, or you can try to figure out who the contact person is, and there are some ways you can go about that. You can go to look up the who is information on it if it doesn't have it on the site, or you can, in different areas you can scan for things, but there's tools that you can extract email addresses from websites with. But what I would do is I'd just call them up and ask to, well, we don't have to go into the whole script, but basically I would stick this in a spreadsheet, and then I'd come back and we'd pick another one. Lots of directories. Heller's Building, that seems like it might be a website too. See, this is another one. This one would probably be a little bit harder of a sale. It's just been my experience that when they, and other people may disagree with this, but it's been my experience when they advertise family-owned values that they're a little harder to sell to, but it just depends on you, I guess. See, this one gives you an email address, so if you wanted to do cold emailing, you can save that. You could save the phone number, you stick that into a spreadsheet, into your prospecting list. And then you get the idea, right? You go through all the top 10 pages 2 through 10, grab everybody that looks like that they might need what you're offering, stick that into a spreadsheet, and then what I used to like to do was spend a whole day doing prospecting and then a whole day doing outreach. Prospecting, outreach. So you get the idea, right? Like that's a pretty, for no money, that's a pretty easy way to find some people that need what you're trying to do. So again, nothing groundbreaking, but it is how I found my very first client, and I continued to use that for a while until I started getting some income coming in. So hopefully you found that a little bit useful. So I'm going to not pause for a minute, but I'm going to grab another drink. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and throw those in the chat box right now. All right, it's ready to keep going? Good. How important are search volume for low comp keywords? Yeah, that kind of leads to a whole other thing. So ask that again at the end when we do a full Q&A, and I'll come back to it. So, is it really 90 days simple? And what I mean is it really that easy to go from working at a job and then not having income to having a full-time income doing client SEO? Is it really simple enough to do it in 90 days? With the prospecting technique I just gave you, let me ask you this. Do you think you could find three businesses to sign as clients in the next 90 days if you did exactly what I said? Prospect outreach, day after day. Do you think you could find 3 clients in 90 days doing that if you committed to it every day? Yeah, lots of yeses. Let me ask you this then. If you knew that every business you found that needed SEO consulting or whatever consulting services you offer could mean another $12,000 to $36,000 per year, could you contact 100 of them a day once you built up your prospecting list? Again, lots of yeses coming in, so that's good. It's good that we're all on the same page. Sorry, I've been recording videos for a few days and voice is getting a little rough, so bear with me. So, at this point, we've agreed that it's simple enough to do in 90 days, and so it's really not an if, it's just a fact. So let's look at the numbers. If you picked up a $500 a month client, that's another $6,000 a year. If you picked up a $1,000 a month client, that's $12,000. 2 is $24,000, 3 is $36,000, and if you pick up a $5,000 a month client, and those are out there, that probably seems like a lot, but that one person is a $60,000 a month, or excuse me, $60,000 a year client. So you can see how quickly, even with just one at each level, how much income that would lead to in a short amount of time. So does that make sense to everybody? Well, we're doing good. We're doing pretty good on time. We're actually kind of blowing right through this. Great. So who wants to do this now? Now that we've established that you can go from working your 9-to-5 job, doing what you do, and then going in and getting a full-time income from this in the next 90 days. People say, let's hear more. Me, yes, I do. Good. I'm glad. All right. So who wants to get it done in the next 90 days? Basically the same question, but I want not just who's ready to start, but who wants to have it from, what's today, August 21st? You want to have it done by, what would that be, November 21st? Again, lots of me's. Good. So let's talk about that a little bit. September 1st? I don't know, that's ambitious. Good for you. So, what you can do is do the, oh, start then. I thought you were saying you'd have it done by September 1st. I was like, then, so there's a few ways you can go about this. You can take what I showed you already and put that into action. Start picking up some clients that way. Spend the next 90 days testing different forms of outreach, whether it's calls or emails or whatever you have, testing and learning and seeing what works for you. And then you can spend those 90 days making the same amount of money that you're making now. And then by the time they're up, maybe you have a plan in place, maybe you haven't gotten any progress, or you can be at the same job making the same amount of money that you're at now. Or you can get right to it in the next 90 days, being coached and directed by someone who has successfully done this with, that's supposed to say seven-figure results, and skip the massive cash loss and the wasted time. You can do that, and you can do that as well. And just to get off on a bit, go off script a little bit here, every time in my life that I've decided to change my situation, it's been because somebody has been there to teach me or to help me, whether it's when I decided to go to college, although I now regret that decision, or when I quit to go work in politics, or when I gave up my job to come do this. It's always been because somebody helped guide me to a path, and I'm not going to name names, but I'm very grateful to the people that have helped me with that. So there's a lot to it, so I'll just leave it at that. So moving on, what I want to talk about today is what I call superstar consulting mastery. Quick thing that's been irritating me about this is I had a nice logo design and a nice new thing made for it, and when I went to put it in the presentation, the file was corrupt, and for whatever reason, and I haven't been able to get a hold of my designer today. So I'm using my standard logo, which still looks great, but I like to create something special for everything I put out, and it didn't happen this time. So forgive me for that, if you're one of the people that would bother. So anyway, back to the story. I've created what I call Superstar SEO Consulting Mastery. So who is this program for? This is a 90-day consult program to help you start a consulting business and go from working at your job to leaving your job within the next 3 months, just like I did. So, who is it for? For beginners. If excuse me, your first clients and you can get your first clients and your full-time income in 90 days or 3 months. I break it down in months within a training, and that's using free and paid client acquisition methods. Basically, you can start prospecting like we talked about, start reaching out to people, and then start turning people into clients within the next 90 days. But let me ask you this: is there anybody here that's already doing SEO? Like, you already have like a successful agency? Maybe you consider yourself a little more advanced? Just let me know in the chat box. Yeah, a few people saying yeah. So, for agency owners, what's useful is you can mathematically use this to 2x your business in the next 90 days. So if this training gives you one technique that you've never thought of and you use it to close a few clients, that, like I said, it stacks up really quickly and you can double your business within these same 90 days. Maybe you want to skip over some of the initial stuff, that's up to you, but if you take one thing away from it, you can easily turn it into a big business. So I'm gonna grab one more drink of water and then we'll continue. All right. So what's in the course? What's in Superstar Consulting Mastery? We're gonna teach you how to start a stupidly profitable consulting business in 90 days. The key to finding the right prospects. Remember how I said not every prospect is a good one? Well, we'll help you determine who is someone you should pursue and who you shouldn't, or when to throw in the towel, so to speak, on a lead. We're going to give you 90 days of handheld, every detailed cover training, meaning even minor stuff like setting up your business. Well, that's maybe not a minor thing, but even things that seem pretty straightforward, like setting up your business and how to establish yourself as a site and a brand. We're going to walk you through that. And then we're going to step by step teach you how to set up your business and get clients. So basically everything you need from nothing to fully operational. So here's exactly what we're going to cover. 3 complete months of training. Month 1, how to start and set up your business. In month number 2, then we're going to go into how to get high-paying clients using a variety of different methods. That's actually my favorite section, of course. That's probably why most of you are here. And then month number 3, we go into other services you can offer to add revenue to your business and how to go about scaling your business to the moon. So, month number 1, starting your business. So first we talk about the right mindset, because if you don't have the right mindset, everything else collapses. None of this will work. So you have to get yourself in the right state of mind of being a business owner and starting a business and so on. Then we're going to talk about setting up your business as a legal entity. And I should put asterisk next to that. You can do this anywhere in the world, but I only know how to do it in the United States. So most of what I talk about within it will be in the United States, but I think in most countries it's probably going to be pretty similar. So then we're going to talk about how to accept calls in your business, how to manage your prospects and leads so you don't lose track of things. And there's nothing worse than you get a lead and you're supposed to follow up with them and something happens and you forget, and then 2 weeks later they call you and wonder where that where that quote is. And project management, this is something I was bad at to begin with, so I had to teach myself how to do it, is to keep track of where you are in your campaigns or your projects or whatever it is you take on. Then we show you some tips to you managing your expenses and sending invoices. And then client pricing. This is something I just thought of at the last minute, but I know it's really important because after all, the point is to get paid, right? So I teach how to effectively price your clients and make sure that you're getting your money's, that you're getting your value's worth. And we show you how to create your brand. So again, you don't want to come off as just a guy calling people out of the blue offering to sell them SEO. You want to establish yourself as a real business, setting up a business name, picking a logo, setting up your social media, your business cards, and so on. And then month 2, and this is where the good stuff comes in. There were so many bullets on this slide, I almost couldn't fit them all on one, so I was pretty excited about that. We have the Superstar offer, which I talked about earlier, is where you offer a small service for a small amount of money, but has a high perceived value to help establish trust and turn someone into a client so you can then sell them higher ticket items. We talk about video ranking, which not the whole comprehensive course on video ranking, but this has been one of the more famous ways I've gone about getting clients, and that kind of ties into the Superstar offer. But basically, you rank a video for a nice local term, and then you sell them on it, or you use it as a superstar offer. And then cold calling, this is actually I'm really excited about. I know a lot of people worry about this, or they want to learn more about it. But I'm bringing on an expert, a friend of mine who's an expert at cold calling specifically for SEO clients. He's someone that I met when I was starting with SEO, and we basically started at the same time. And within like 2 months, he had picked up 18 clients just from cold calling. And he's since moved on to the real estate industry, but he's just masterful at it. And every once in a while, he'll have a bad day or whatever, and he says, "Man, maybe I should get back into SEO because I know I could just pick up clients so quickly." So he's truly masterful at it. I'm actually looking forward to watching these, to be honest, because it's not my greatest strength. So then we talk about cold email. This has been one of my favorite methods. I got my very first client through prospecting the way I showed you, and then sending them a cold email. It worked out really well for me. A lot of people will tell you it doesn't work. If you know what you're doing, it works really well. So we're going to be going through that. I'm going to show you how to get clients through your website. So optimizing it and getting it to rank for terms that will convert, how to figure out what those terms are, and so on. And we're going to go through LinkedIn. So finding clients through LinkedIn. I've gotten a few clients, well, quite a few clients this way in the past. Basically, you reach out to different business owners, you pick a niche, you go after it, and so on. And Facebook ads to get SEO clients is another thing that people don't teach that much because they don't think it works, but if you do it right, it does. And then there's Google AdWords and Bing ads. We'll cover that. Those are basically the same, but we'll go through what you need to do to try to get clients with that, or to get clients with that. And then LinkedIn ads. There are some courses on there out there on that, but I haven't really gone through any of them. But it's something that I found a kind of a unique way to create content and send LinkedIn ads to them to help get clients out of that. And we're going to talk about in-person as marketing. So stuff like Chamber of Commerce, BNI, meetup groups, trade shows, and so on. So that's month number 2, client getting. One more second. And then finally, month number 3, we're going to talk about different ways to get paid and to scale your business. So there's local arbitrage. Basically, that's where you offer something like a rebranding for a business, where you redo their logo and their Facebook profile and all the images and things like that, but you get someone else to do it and you just sell it to them. So basically, you're just white labeling, or whatever you want to call it. Facebook ads management, we teach you how to offer Facebook ads management as another way to add income. This is a great way because once you get it right in the first month or 2 that you're with a client, you don't have to really mess with it much anymore. And then the same goes for PPC ads management, things like AdWords and Bing ads and so on. I actually have a Bing ads client, believe it or not, because they're part of, like, I don't totally understand it, but they're part of like a corporate entity, and they're only allowed to do certain things, and one of the things they're allowed to do is Bing ads, and I've gotten them some great results with that. So maybe I'll add that in there as well. And then social media management, I have a really slick way of offering social media management to where you don't actually have to do the social media management, and you can make $500 to $1,000 extra a month just offering that. And then website design. Now this isn't going to be on how to design websites, but I do have an expert web developer, designer, owner of a web company coming on. Is going to teach you how to create agency sites, not SEO agency, but like agency of local business sites in like 20 minutes or something that you can then sell for a few hundred or a few $1,000s. And then we're going to go into freelancing and then some basic SEO. Now, to be clear, that's the one thing I want to clear up before we go any further. This is not a course on SEO, on how to do SEO, but you can't really run an SEO agency without knowing anything about SEO. So we are going to cover some SEO basics to maybe a little bit of intermediate stuff, so you at least have a handle on what you're doing. But I'm assuming that anyone that does this either knows how to find someone that can do SEO or can do SEO themselves. So, and then bonus trainings and webinars. We're going to do 3 monthly coaching webinars. And what I've decided to do them monthly instead of weekly this time because I think that the content fits that a little bit better that way. And plus, with weekly, it didn't give people enough time to really build up some questions. Then you're going to get access to our secret Facebook mastermind. I'm setting this one to secret and giving you specific instructions on how to get entrance to it, because before I had people trying to get into Facebook groups that didn't pay for the course, and I just don't think that's fair. And then you get direct access to me. If you have questions that you don't want to ask in the Facebook group, I will, as quickly as I possibly can, I will respond to them and try to help you and get you through them. So it's some extra bonus training there. So let's sum it all up. You get 90 days of coaching and training, which is a $2,997 value. You get live webinars in the private mastermind, which is a $1,200 value. And then you can get direct access to me, which is a $6,197 value. That's a real world value of $6,197. So, like I say, normally what we're going to be offering this for, the 90 days of coaching and training, the live webinars, the private mastermind, the direct access to me, the normal price for it is going to be $1,997. But today we're going to do it a little differently. We're going to do 3 payments of $366. Now, before we get into that, I want to show you a few testimonials I've gotten from other people. I actually see some of them here on the webinar, so that's nice. But I've gotten from other people, so give you a chance to read that over. I'm going to grab a drink here. Sorry about all the drinking. Like I said, I've been recording a lot, and my voice is getting kind of raw. So let me ask you: do you think that this is a worthy investment? Do you want to keep doing what you're doing and try to figure it out on your own, or do you want to start getting to where you want to be in life? Because that's what this entails. The only way you can really lose at this is if you don't do it, because there's the price is right. There's a money back guarantee. There's really no way to lose unless you just don't do it. What's that expression? You miss all the shots you don't take. That's kind of what you're looking at here. So before we go into any further, let's go open it up to some questions. Anybody have any questions on anything? Did I go too fast? A couple people saying, yeah, slow down a little bit. I'm doing my best. It's something I'm working on. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on the screen, and then we'll jump into some Q&A. If you want to pick this up now, we have like I said, we have the one-time payment where you save $100 of $997 a month, or you can split it up into 3 payments of $366. So I'll go ahead and stick those in the chat box, and then we'll jump right into some training or some Q&A. One of these days I will get the hang of GoToWebinar. Whoa, that didn't work. 1 second. While I'm doing this, guys, just load up your questions and we'll do Q&A. Alright, I'm going to leave that on the screen, but I dropped those in the chat box for anybody who wants to check it out. So let's see, I made 28K Canadian. Okay, that's an older question. What about clients who ask where your links come from? If it's gray hat, isn't that a problem? What about clients who ask where your links come? Oh, that's the same question twice. If a client is asking about links, they're probably not a good client. I tell clients that I use a proprietary method using safe practices based on industry standards or words to that effect. I don't show them my links unless it's something like a press release. So if they're asking what kind of links are, you probably haven't set their expectations right. So they're probably going to be a difficult client. If they did say something like that, I don't know. I would probably assure them that I'm a professional, and it wouldn't do me any good to do things that will be harmful to them. So, but if you're showing them links, that's kind of a hard situation to dig yourself out of. As he says, more of an explanation on what you get. Okay, I can show you inside the members area. Would that be useful? Matthew says, hell yeah. You don't have to be profane about it. I'm just kidding. So give me 1 second here, and I'll bring that up, and I'll kind of walk you through it. Too many things open. All right. And again, this will be replaced with a nice graphic once my designer gets back to me. But this is the inside of the members area. And we go what's in the course, what's not in the course, mindset, how to join the Facebook, setting up an agency, phone number, how to manage your prospect and leads, project management, manage expenses and invoices, client pricing for monthly SEO, picking a business name, logos, social media, business cards, the superstar offer, video ranking, cold calling, video 1. There's going to be, I think he told me there was going to be 5 videos on cold calling. So to me, that's worth the price of admission alone. If I could get better at that, my business would explode. And then there'll be a few videos on cold emailing, webinar I threw in there. That's how to use your website to get clients. Facebook ads. These are client acquisition methods now, month number 2. Facebook ads, Google and Bing ads, LinkedIn ads, Chamber of Commerce, Meetup, BNI, trade shows, and you don't need me to read all of this. You get the idea. And on top of that, we're going to do 3 Q&A webinars, and then you get the Facebook group, and you can get direct access to me as long as it's not a question that I think would benefit everyone, or if it's something you want to ask privately. So hopefully that answers that a little bit. What about low volume search terms? You asked this before, maybe I'm not clear what you need, so maybe you can go into a little more detail with that. It looks great. Who can I hire for the actual SEO? I've been studying with SWU. I don't regard myself as an expert enough to get ring clients. There are white label services out there that you can hire. You can hire someone to just tell you what the plan you should have, and then you can buy this different services. You can go on Upwork and find some very good SEO people on there. That's where a lot of good SEOs get their start. There's a lot of ways you can go about that. So, hell yes. Let's see behind the curtain. The cold calling sounds great. What is your average revenue per client? What typical services do you offer? When I started out, I was taking whatever I can get. I do not recommend that. Right now I have a minimum of $1,500 a month, just because I find I can't really make a profit if it's any less than that. So that's my minimum. That doesn't mean it has to be yours. I offer just about everything, but SEO is my core offer. But like I said, I do have a Bing ads client. I have some Facebook ads clients, and a few other things. Basically, if it's something that somebody wants, I find a way to get it done. That's not to say you have to say yes to everything, but if it's something that's kind of tied to what you do, I find somebody that can do it, and I get them to do it. So I'm going to put the links back up on the screen. So that was helpful. How much SEO skill do you think is needed for this? John, you seem like you're really worried about your ability to do SEO. If you have if you have problems with the SEO, then we'll be there to help you. But honestly, to rank a client is not that hard. It's just a matter of social signals and PBN links and a little bit more than that. It's really not that hard optimizing the on-site. So I think somebody with very beginning level of knowledge can do this. So, and then we're always there to help you out with it. So, are white label SEO services just as good as source uni OMG methods? It just depends on the individual service. Do you have VAs, and do you do things like Facebook ads and AdWords yourself? I don't have as many VAs as I should. That's something I've been bad about. I am working on that. I know there's one person here in attendance that's probably laughing right now. I think that people use VAs the wrong way. I think that they use them as an excuse, as a reason not to do any work themselves, when really what it is if there's a task that you have to repeat a lot, you should get a VA for that. Do I manage Facebook ads and AdWords myself? Yeah. What I do is I get them. The good thing about those is you get them set up once, and then for the most part, you don't have to touch them again. Maybe you check it every once in a while. So hopefully that answers that. What is the highest SEO client you have in terms of revenue? I have a $5,000 a month client. Tim says all my VAs quit over 6 months. Are you hard to work for, Tim? Yeah, no, that sucks. So, are you familiar with the hotshot rank and rent programs? Would that be perhaps an easier approach to quick money? Quick money, I don't know. To me, that's a viable way to make money. It's not what I do, so I can't really comment on it. I do it with video, but I don't do like the mass page rank and rent sites that much. I do make some mass page sites, but mostly just for affiliate and for things like that. But I don't know. To me, I'm not going to say what's faster. This is a better business model, in my opinion. So, how is the course rolled out? Is most of it complete? Yeah. So right now I have all of month 1 done and some of the videos for month 2. I'm waiting on other people to send me their videos to upload for the rest of it. But it's, if you're asking, do you have to wait 1 month before you get more? No, I'm going to have the rest of it uploaded over the next few days. So, how long do you keep the clients paying you? Everyone has a different approach to that. For me, as long as they're getting value from me, I keep them on. Some people like to, after X amount of time, have them just send you referrals instead of money. Other people like to keep them on for a long time. That's kind of a decision that you have to make for your business. I tend to keep them, as long as they're happy, I like to keep them around because they'll still send you referrals even though while they're paying you. So that's my take on it. You said ranking came down, a PBN link, social signals, and I think something else. Yeah, I mean on page, just there's really not a ton to ranking. Like, people tend to overthink SEO, really, in my opinion. It's just a matter of a proper linking strategy and on-page optimization in most cases. So, Megan says, "What's the typical time to sign up a client up for month to month? Do you ever do a year contract?" So what I do is I tell them it's month to month. Let me repeat the question so people can get it. What's the typical time to sign a client up for month to month? Do you ever do a year contract? I don't do contracts. I do everyone month to month in case they turn out to be a pain in the ass, pardon my language. But I make it very clear to them up front that it can take 4 months, 6 months, or a year. I never say less than 4 months, and that's for super easy terms. I usually tell them 6 months to a year, but they can bail at any point, and so can I, because you don't want to be in a relationship with someone that isn't good for you. How many SEO clients do you have? I have right now about 20 something. I love the analogy. Thank you. As far as back to the number of clients thing, there's some prominent SEOs like to brag about the amount they have. To me, it's just one aspect to my business, but it is the one that I use for my paycheck, for lack of a better way to put it. And then everything else I do goes into expanding my business, building my business, and so on. So, how do you show the clients value in a measurable way? Rankings. That's what they're paying you for, is rankings. They're not. That's one of the things we talk about in the mindset video, is that you don't need to think like they're an employee. You don't need to report to them what. And this is just my take on it. You can handle it differently. This is what I do. The question was, how do I do it? You don't want to show them every little link you're building and every little on page you're doing. You don't want to have them calling you all the time. You want to establish with them that they're not ranking, or they're not ranking as well as they could be, and this is for SEO clients, obviously, and you're going to take them out of that and get them ranking well. As long as you can continue to show upward trends, if that's not good enough for them, they're probably not a good client to have, and you need to establish that at the beginning of the relationship. You can't scale if you're having to explain to them where every link comes from, where everything you do is, if you're spending time talking to them, you can't grow your business that way. So you need to just let them know. And I'm sorry if I'm going on a rant here, because I've had clients that expected that sort of thing, and it frustrates me. You need to let them know up front that that's what they're going to get from you and why it's valuable. So there we go. And phone calls. I'm not sure what that means. How quickly do you go from the superstar offer to signing them up for SEO in terms of service? Just depends on the individual. Like, if I don't know, every one of those is different, but basically you talk to them, you sell them on the superstar offer, which I love that name, by the way, and then you complete it for them, and then you just stay in contact with them. Some of them will be ready to offer it to you right then. Others will take a little while. So hopefully that value. How many clients is one person? Ooh, lots of questions, hard to keep up. How many clients is one person possible of working per month? Can you clear that up? I'm not sure what you mean. Is the content only available in order, or can we jump around in it? You can jump around however you want. It's set up in a way that you should follow it, but if there's something you need to know right away, you can do it. And just to be clear, that I'm still uploading videos. Just I don't want anybody to jump in and be disappointed. You said you show clients rankings, but phone calls also can play into it if the phone calls ramp up. Yeah, that's up to you if you want. Somebody says I'm cutting out. Can you hear me okay now? Okay. Does the course show how you manage your 20 plus clients? I wouldn't know how to manage that many clients. Yeah, I remember I talked about project management. It's really not much to it. Once you get like the first month down, like you really don't have to do very much at all. So, how many clients can you hold per month? As many as you want. Like Cat and Grammar has hundreds. I have 20 or so. 50 clients per month possible? Yes. So, let's see. Yes. Okay. When does the course start or will be available again? Sorry if you've already answered this. It starts right away. Like you can, once you sign up, it's the first month is right there. I have a few videos in the second month. I had planned on getting all those uploaded over the weekend, but as some of you know, I ran into some other issues in my business over the weekend that got me behind. But within the next few days, let's say by the end of the week, the entire course will be uploaded and you can do it there. How many assistants do you employ? How much junk work do you farm out? I don't have that many. I have some that are, I have 3 or 4 that are for specific tasks. What I really need, and I haven't figured out a good way to go about this yet, is just an all-purpose person. And this is something that I'm working on myself. But I need like a assistant just to help. I don't know. I basically just need I know it's not a popular term these days, but I need a secretary. And so I'm working on getting someone to help me with that sort of thing. But as far as how many do I have? I keep about 3 or 4 for specific tasks. The only thing I don't really like to give out is my PBN linking. I don't feel like anyone else can do that right. Maybe that's just an ego thing, but I feel like that's what my clients are really paying for, and I'm comfortable doing that myself. But I have a system for handling that. So you do leverage VAs to help with your SEO, or do you do all your stuff? Kind of just answered that. Barry says hand raise. You're not pretty enough to be my secretary, Barry. That's a joke for any of those in the audience there. How many PBN sites do you recommend to start? I'd like to just pick them up as I go. If you pick up, just add them. Like basically, it's kind of I hate how many. That's a bad question. I never know how to answer how many blanks do I blank. I would just start with no less than 10. But they're pretty easy to. In the meantime, you can always buy links. So while you're building up your own PBN, and I absolutely recommend you do buy your own PBN. It's the asset of your business. So, does the course show how to hire the right VAs for SEO? I hadn't thought of that. If that's something that people want, I can definitely have it added. I know someone that will be ideal to help me make a video on that. So, if there's ever something in it, if you jump in and there's something in it or something not in it that you want to be in it, then let me know and I'll add it. If I think it's reasonable. I mean, don't ask me how to make a baked macaroni and cheese because I don't know. But if there's something that I think can add value, I'll definitely do it because I want this to be the most robust course possible. It's another reason I just haven't gotten all the content up right away is I want to make sure that I'm adding everything that everyone needs. So I'm fairly new to PBNs, so I only have one. That's fine. Actually, let me bring back up the members area here if I can find it. Where'd it go? There it is. Yeah, one of the things we talk about in the basic SEO section. Where is it? So much stuff, it takes forever to scroll through it, is finding PBNs, is buying PBN links and so on, because to me that's the absolute key to everything you do. You should, I once made the analogy that, and maybe this is stupid, but for me it works, that your PBNs are to you like a guitar is to a guitarist. It's the instrument that you play that generates your income, and it's your most valuable asset. So you have to manage those and take good care of them. So hopefully that makes sense. This course is brand new? Yes. Yes, it literally today was the first day of it. Tim says, been trying no PBN white hat for years. It's more of spaghetti against the wall approach to ranking. Yeah, I mean, Yeah, I know what you're saying. I told you back in 2014 I had some sites ranking. I was just using tools and magic submitters and comment links and stuff. So yeah, PBNs I like it because it's a very controlled environment. Like part of my background is in computer programming, so I'm used to input A, get B kind of thing. So for me, PBNs kind of do that, and I don't know if that made any sense, but hopefully it did. How many clients do you someone could get if they worked really hard within this by the end of 90 days? That's impossible to answer. It's totally up to you. But like I said, my friend Michael, who's teaching me cold calling, had 18 clients in 2 months. So a lot is the answer. But again, it just depends on how much time you have to put into it, what methods work for you, how good you are, how committed you are, what you network you already have. It's still a lot of factors. So Tim said, I run a 2,500 page ecom site. I'm guessing only 30 pages rank. Ecom's a bit different. I don't know a ton about ecom SEO, but I know it has a lot to do with optimizing the URLs. Oh, and by the way, Tim, happy birthday. He says he's a programmer by trade also. Yeah, so yeah, it probably makes sense to you that way too. Thank you. Thank you for being here. I wouldn't be here on my birthday, so I appreciate that. Does the course have a tier 2 power up ranking strategy? Um, Probably not. I mean, I might cover like Web 2.0s and stuff. But again, the goal of this is more to get you making money than it is teaching you how to rank. Um, so yeah, if there's something that's missing, we can add that later. But how many cold email templates? You mean the ones that are like the bonuses? There's going to be 3 of them. But within the course, we're going to show you methods, and then we'll include templates as well. So. It's a lot of great questions, guys. Keep them coming. Grab another drink while you load up some more. How many prospects should you call, email per day? As many as you can have time for. The more the better. It's definitely, I hate the expression, it's a numbers game, because to me that implies low quality, because you don't want to do low quality outreach. But it is a numbers game in the sense that the more you do, the more likely you are to add. So as many as you have time for. What I did, I had a job. My last job was in IT support, so I did a lot of cold emailing because it was kind of difficult to make calls. And then if I did have to get a call from a client or a prospect, this is funny. I would actually go into the restroom and make the call there, and try to close them in the restroom. I actually closed a couple of clients in the bathroom at my old job. So, you know, my point in telling that story is you do whatever you have to do with the time you have. If you don't have that sort of job, if you work in retail or something like that where you can't be at a computer, you can always be at night, doing LinkedIn or ads. That's kind of why I included stuff like that. And I think that a lot of how to start a SEO business courses fail is that they don't take into account people that have jobs already. So in fact, I was on a webinar once and they had somebody in attendance come on, and they asked, I work 40 hours a week, I'm a single dad, and I want to start my SEO business, but I don't have a lot of time to get clients. What do you suggest? And the guy running the webinar told him to quit his job. And I get what he was going at, but I was like, that's not realistic. You have to pay the bills. So I tried to come up with methods that you could use while at a job, because it's something that's in my experience. So with 10 PBN links, I'm guessing most. Whoa, lots of questions. Just push that one off. So with 10 PBN links, I'm guessing for most terms can be ranked for. Well, I mean, average terms, like, I don't want you to go thinking you're going to rank for New York lawyer with 10 PBN links, but if you pick up like a plumber or a electrician or something like that in your city, most of the time that's going to get you most of the way there. And then there's some other tweaks you can do to help with it too. I do bathroom client work via email. Yeah, there you go. Like, it's a strange thing, but I love to hear stories like that, because to me those are the people that really want it. So client emails, I mean, well, do you have clients that rank across multiple cities? Yes. One of my biggest clients is a real estate, I don't know the right term, real estate agent, broker. They sell houses that have places statewide through Texas. So yes is the answer to that. It's the best way to keep everything well organized. Passwords, web page username and passwords, like social media accounts, email, content. I like to use, well, different people have different things. You can use things like Google Drive, regular spreadsheets. You can even create a database if you know how to do that. And then for your client projects, you can use things like FreeCamp that we actually talk about in the course. So, does your course have a follow-up schedule? So you mean like from the time you reach out to the time you close? I can do something like that, but again, every client is different. So, or actually, I always do that. Every prospect is different, so you kind of pace it out. But yeah, I can give you, for lack of a better term, it's an overused term, I can give you a funnel on how to handle that if that's something that we need. How many hours per week do you spend ranking clients and also for getting clients? What does a typical week look like for you? Okay, so I'm just going to talk about the agency side of my business because I'm into a lot of other things now, as you know. But spend per week, how many hours? I don't really track my hours on anything I do. Basically, my day, if I were doing strictly client SEO, I would do outreach all day long, or either outreach or closing deals all day long. And then in the evenings, I would do the other techniques like the LinkedIn's, the setting up my ads, and then that's the time you do your SEO too. The SEO itself doesn't take very much time. Like even if you build 10 links a day, that's maybe an hour once you get the hang of it. So that's basically a typical day. I guess that answers that question. If not, then let me know. I have shit everywhere. I feel like, yeah. I have that same problem. I'm not organized by nature, so I've had to force myself into that. Bathroom client getting is kind of crappy. Boom, boom. Tss. I'm about to quit my 70-hour per week sales job, drive for Uber at night, and to pay bills, and do this 9 to 5. Thoughts? Okay, so disclaimer: I would never tell someone to do that because it's your decision personally. But so don't do it just because I said so. I think if this is something that you really want, and that's what you have to do to get it, then absolutely. I admire that kind of drive, and hope this doesn't offend anybody, but the kind of balls it takes to do that, because I've quit good paying, consistent jobs twice in my life to go do something I wanted to do more. And if that's how you can get there, then you do it. And you know what? Right after I quit my job, I signed up for Uber. I never had to do it, but I signed up because I was ready to do that if that's what it came to make this work. So it's something you can do. I don't want to recommend that to somebody and then have them do it. And, you know, does the course show what type of CRM to manage potential clients? Yes. I actually have one that I like that I got from AppSumo a while back, and I show you which one I use to do that. I don't go into depth in it, but I show it and show the basics of it. So, how much does one need to spend on tools like Ahrefs, etc.? You know what I would do is grab SERPed, and that's $50-$60 a month. That's like 75% of your battle right there. So you can probably get everything you need for a couple $100 a month. So I know I remember when that was a lot for me, but I mean, it is a business. And the good thing about those is once you get established, all of it's tax write-offs. And quote unquote, again, disclaimer, I'm not a tax professional, but they are write-offs. So that's always good. What about clients that start off amazing and then just lose interest and quit returning your calls and quit paying? They did you a favor if they quit paying and they quit returning your calls. Got a good business transaction client that I've sort of lost them as they've lost interest. You can rekindle them, like you can show up at their office if you have to, send them something in the mail, do something to stick out, but I don't like to chase people. If they don't want to work with me, I don't want to work with them. But if you need the revenue, then just be annoying until you get them to give you what you want. Like send them some chocolates or something, I don't know. But again, I try not to swear on webinars, but be a pain in the ass until that they get what you want. Like remember that you're the one that's in the dominant position and that they're lucky to have you working for them. Or I said that wrong. They're lucky to get you to do their work. You are in demand, and they should be fortunate. They should be excited to send you that check every month. So basically be a pain in the ass until you get them back on board, or just fire them. What type of payment system do you use? Do you set up payments automatically? I have a video on this in the course. There are a few different ones that you can use and that I use. I like to use Intuit, and I use PayPal for some people. I have one guy, and I don't recommend this, and I don't like it, but he's such a nice guy, and he's very old fashioned, but somehow still gets the value of SEO, and he literally sends me a check every single month. I told him one time that it's not a big deal. I just scan it in with my phone, and he flipped the fuck out about that, and said that people could steal it if he did that way. So please don't do that anyway. So now I drive to the bank once a month to deposit his check because it's not a great business model, but he's such a nice guy, and he's been with me for so long that I do that. So payment to answer. Now that I got way off on a tangent, payment methods. There's a lot of options out there. My favorite one is Intuit, but I also use PayPal, and there are others as well. For an average client, how many PBN links would you send per month? I like to start with just a couple and then test, and then just grow from there, just see how they respond. But start with the 2 or 3, and that way, once they kick in, you can see how it responds. You don't want to overdo it because you may just end up using resources that you don't have. So, would buying PBNs and giving them some rankings be a good idea to rekindle the client's interest? Since he quit paying me, I've basically put him at the bottom of the totem pole. That's up to you. I wouldn't do anything for them if they're not paying me. I get paid at the beginning of the month for the work I do that month. That way I never get into a situation where I'm not doing anything. I would call him and say, be very blunt about it. What the F is up? Do you want me to take these down? And, whatever. I mean, you have to handle it the way you see fit, but I would, and if you want to talk about this particular person more, we can, like in private, but I would put my foot down with them and be like, do you want to continue services, or should I go over to your competitor over here? So I wouldn't put up with that situation. Maybe that's just me. I have a big ego that way, but you have to make them want you. So have you built funnels for your paid advertising to generate leads automatically? Yeah. Now, when you say that, I don't want you picturing these overly elaborate Russell Brunson fancy ass funnels, but there's a trick to this with, not really a trick, but you have to be careful with this with Facebook ads. But yeah, we send them to this page, they opt in, they set up a call, and so on. So I guess that's technically a funnel. Really, any sales funnel you have is any sales process where you have more than one step is a funnel. So it's a good discussion here tonight, guys. I really love doing Q&A. It's funny, in the last couple courses I put out, I did Q&A webinars as part of the course, and of the 100 people in each one that signed up, 2 or 3 would come to the webinars, and it drove me absolutely nuts, because I love doing Q&A, and you paid for it, so I don't know why you wouldn't take advantage of it. But and I even put it at the time, I even polled and asked what time would be good for people, and they gave me a time, and it still didn't work out that well. But that's why I'm kind of doing it as monthly this time instead of weekly. What's a good rate to pay VAs? I think I lost them due to paying them too little. I'm still not sure what to outsource, either other than manual retweets. If you get the site that I like to go to is, what is it? onlinejobs.ph, and they'll kind of give you what they expect, and then I just try to work with them on that. I don't know. It just depends on how much profit you have. I like to treat them well, but at the same time, I don't want to get into the point where it would be just as easy to get an employee. So I hope that makes sense. It's a hard one to answer. I'm not sure what you mean by the manual retweets, though. Chris says in those webinars I learned a lot. Yeah, and one of them, it was just me and Chris here on a webinar for an hour. So hopefully that won't be the case this time. All right, guys, been at this a little over an hour. Any more questions? Is there anything I can tell you about the course if you're on the fence? Is there anything I can tell you to help you get off the fence, basically? I really want to help some people and get them to do what I did and be where I am, because it would mean a lot to me to be able to help people. That's part of my belief system. So if there's anything I can tell you on that, let me know. I gave them a high PA Twitter account and had them retweet tweets. I would find a tool to do that for me. I wouldn't pay someone to do that. There's plenty of social media automation tools. Felix says, have you ever done rank and rent? For websites, I've done it a couple times. It's not my favorite model. I like doing it for video, though, because videos are so easy to rank. But to me, if I'm going to spend time ranking something, I'd rather spend time ranking something I'm already getting paid for. So I'm still in my day job. How many hours per week required? Man, that's just up to you. When I wanted it, I did every minute I absolutely could. I worked. I had a traditional 8 to 5. I would sneak in what I could during the day, and then I would stay there all night long. Why they never thought that was weird, I don't know. But I would stay there and work on it all night, sometimes till midnight, 1 o'clock. How many required is it's entirely up to you. Like you can put the more effort you put in, the more you're gonna get. So just depends on how badly you want it. I know that's a vague answer, but required, I mean, you need to do at least an hour a day of prospecting, maybe two, and then an hour a day or two of outreach at the if I had to put a number on it at the bare minimum. How many hours a week per week do I work now? All of them? I don't know. It's hard to say because it doesn't really feel like work to me a lot of the time. I don't know. Probably around 100, 60 to 100 probably. Because I generally, like I say, I wake up around noon, work for until 9 or 10, and then I go work out, and then I come home and work for another hour or two, and then I just watch Netflix until I fall asleep, which is not very often. I don't sleep very well. So, but as far as tracking hours, it's just not something I'm very good at. So I don't know. All right, guys. Anything else? Can I help you? Can I help you with anything? I really hope some people will pick this up. I've really put a lot of labor into it, and I still have a lot to do, but it's something I'm very proud of. So the I-Man says, "Good shit, bro." Alan says, "Have a good night." Thanks. Jade says, "Thanks." All right, so we're gonna give it one more minute to see if there's any last minute questions. If there's anything you're on the fence about, let me know, and I'll do my best to answer it for you. Otherwise, it's 9:18. We'll go till 9:20, and then we'll wrap it up. So if you have any more questions, speak now or forever hold your peace. Tim says, "I think I need to get more PBNs first." I don't know. If you don't have anything, I don't know your situation that well. If you don't have clients to rank, you don't need that many PBNs. But if you have some clients and you need PBNs, I guess that's important to get to. So the offer will be around till the end of the week, so you have some time to think about it. But yeah, Glenn says, "Good Q&A." Thank you, sir. All right, guys, about 30 more seconds. John says, "Good stuff." Thank you. Thanks a lot. If you guys have any questions, you can drop them in. I'm assuming you're already in the Facebook group. If not, it's superstarseo.com/Facebook. You can drop them in there, or you can PM me. So Matthew says 2 months. I'm not sure what you mean by that. How long will this offer be? Oh, till the end of the week, and then the price is going to go up because it's so much work that I can't keep it at one price for long. So, you can jump in now at the 366, or I'll probably take the monthly installments away, and then I'm going to bump it up to 1997 on Sunday. So, all right, another 30 seconds or so. How long does it take to do the training? I didn't time it, but there's I think like 40 videos in there right now, so you can probably, if you do them in order, I don't know, a few hours, but it's not like TV, so you kind of want to do it and then put it into practice and then do it and put it into practice kind of thing. But I think there's like 40 videos, 45 videos by the time I get done with it. So. Any last minute questions, guys? Or should we wrap it up? What do you think? Great webinar. Thanks. Thank you, man. Thanks a lot. Getting a lot of people to say thank you. I appreciate you being here. It really does mean a lot to me. I really do enjoy doing these things, and I really hope that some of you will jump on this and change your life around. That's really my goal with all this, because it's really not about the money for me, because I can continue doing well without this. I just want to help out as many people as I can. So if you have anything else, drop them in the Facebook group or shoot me a message. Otherwise, it's been my It's been my pleasure, and I'll see you soon.